So in this segment, we're going to be talking about this kind of short from Channel 4, talking about most Russian soldiers are killed by friendly fire. This is it's insane.
Half of all the Russian soldiers who died since May in the Ukraine war were killed by their own side. That's according to a
Sorry about being blurry, it's just the monitor resolution.
senior military commander who backs Russia. This is Alexander Khodorkovsky. He's the pro-Russian commander in charge of part of Ukraine that's occupied by the Russians, called Donetsk.
So we know that the Russians pulled out Kherson, but they're still in Donetsk, and so this is one of the military officials in charge of this area.
Friendly fire where soldiers accidentally kill their own comrades is a feature of pretty much every war. It normally accounts for 1 or 2% of deaths in combat.
I'm not sure how much it counted for in the Iraq or Afghanistan wars, but there were a decent amount of friendly fire kills. I just couldn't tell you as a percentage how many they were and if it's out of the norm, but it did happen a fair bit.
Perhaps 20% in the worst cases, but nothing like 60%, as this pro-Russian general claims has happened to his own side in Ukraine. We'd known for a while that Russian soldiers are poorly trained and badly equipped, and many troops are completely demoralised and even angry with some of their senior officers. Experts say that even if the true figure is lower than 60%, the fact that a pro-Russian commander is willing to make this claim publicly shows the challenges that Russia is facing in this war.
And so it's really interesting that a Russian commander admitted that they're having around 60% of their casualties being friendly fire. No one who wants their military to fight or to win would admit such a figure. So maybe it's maybe he said it because he wants Putin to send that area better soldiers, or I genuinely don't know, because I know things like fragging does happen where they essentially soldiers turn on their officers and murder them. But this is a lot more than that. This is something else. I don't know if it's down to poor training where you've got soldiers firing on each other. The only thing I can think of is the Family Guy Pat Tillman skit, where Pat Tillman was killed by friendly fire and the American government tried to cover it up. But this is good news for the Ukrainian military. This is good news that it looks like the ones doing most of the damage to the Russian military isn't the Ukrainians, but it's other Russians. And I do wonder how many of them are doing it intentionally, because they genuinely don't want to be there. A lot of these people are on the front lines. At least a significant amount of them are forced to be there. There were stories of Russian protesters, people protesting the war, protesting conscription, the draft, were sent to the front. And I wonder if it's those people, because in the Caucasus regions, it's very interesting to see what's going on down there with them protesting against a war they want no part of. Even that guy Kadyrov saying like, "Oh, I'm here on the front lines," but it turns out he was not there on the front lines. He was very far away from it. He's a bit of a joke. So yeah, Channel 4 doing some decent coverage. There's quite a lot of people doing good coverage of the conflict in Ukraine, or the Russian invasion of Ukraine. At least we know, we have a relatively decent idea of what's going on over there. But the fact that so many of them are being killed by friendly fire is genuinely crazy. I know they're ill-equipped, but this statistic makes no sense unless they're doing it intentionally. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And also comment if you think there will be a coup in Russia, because it genuinely feels like it's going to happen at some point.